Dear students, let me recall you what had happened in the last video. We came to know that there was an English teacher living in a distant place, far off place, some 1500 miles away from his home, where he had a profession of teaching English to the migrant laborers. He was doing well. He had saved some 14 rupees in his pocket, and he used to get up at 4 in the evening after having his daily chores. He used to have something to eat, like a meal and some tea and other things. And he used to start his day. He used to teach English to the migrant laborers from 9 in the night to 11 p.m. So what had happened in the last video? We saw that the writer went to a restaurant, which was a busy restaurant, a crowded restaurant. He ate chapati with meat curries and drank a cup of tea too. And bill came to 11 annas. When he was supposed to pay the bill, he saw that somebody has picked his wallet and he could not pay the bill. So the owner of the restaurant, he said, keep the money and go, or else I am going to gouge your eyes out. So at this moment, he was searching for somebody, some kind-hearted people who could help him to get his money back. But unfortunately, he did not see any who could pay the bill there. And if the owner of the restaurant said that he is going to gouge his eyes out, then it was sure that he was going to gouge his eyes out. So that's how he prepared his mind that his life was going to end in this way, and he was going to be a beggar, naked, blind beggar in the streets of that far off city. So he had made up his mind for that thing, and everything would end to the satisfaction of all. So the people who were um, entertainment hungry, who were never interested in missing the opportunity of seeing how a man will be insulted, innocent man will be insulted. So for those satisfaction, his life was going to end. That's how he had made up his mind. And slowly, he says, I began to undo one by one the buttons of my trousers. Then I heard a voice, stop, I shall pay the money. So here, finally, when all the doors closes, there is a one more door which will open for you people. So that is what happened with this life, with the life of this narrator too. When he was supposed to remove off his trousers, he was supposed to accept what the restaurant owner is telling him to do. At that moment, a voice came. Somebody from the crowd in the hotel, in the restaurant, they said, wait, stop, I shall pay the money. And everyone turned in the direction of the voice. Everyone turned towards that man who is going to disturb. Who is this man who is disturbing our entertainment? That was what they were thinking of. Who is that man who doesn't love his money? So in that way, they looked at him. They were startled. They were awestruck. They started looking towards the direction of the voice. And how was that man? He was fair, fair complexioned, a little bit lighter complexion. See, complexion means skin of the color of the skin. So light color, not so brown, not so black, not so white. Fair complexion. Okay. So he was a little bit fair in his color. He was tall, 6 foot tall, with a red turban and white trousers. So you can imagine that MDH Masala, the grand old man advertising there, so something like that. Red color turban, white trousers means white shirt too. Imagine that. He has not mentioned about shirt here, but obviously a man cannot move out of his house without wearing a shirt. That's how. If white color pant is there, he can wear the white color shirt too. That's how we can just take it for granted that he was wearing something like white dress. And he sported a handlebar mustache and had blue eyes. Handlebar mustache which were like the handle, cycle's handle, straightened, no, jetty means something like that. So he had a handlebar mustache and had blue eyes. Blue eyes was nothing special for him, he says. Blue eyes were quite common at this place. He came forward and asked the restaurant keeper, how much did you say it was? So that man who asked the person to not to remove his trousers. He came forward and at the counter he asked, "What is your bill? How much was it?" 11 annas. The restaurant keeper said. He paid the amount. He turned to me and said, "Put on your clothes." I put them on. "Come," he called me. I went with him. Did I have words to express my gratitude? I told him, "You have done a great deed. I have not seen a finer man." This person was very keen to escape from that fate, isn't it? So when somebody helped him, he did not ask the question regarding who are you, how did you know me, why are you helping me. Now such questions arise in his mind. He paid the bill. It was enough for him. So when he said, "Put on your clothes," he immediately put them on. And when he said, "Come with me," he started following him. He had nothing to ask. And then after some time, he said, "You have done a great deed. I have not seen a finer man." Finer, good man. Good, more good. So I had not seen a finer man than you. You are the finest man I have seen ever, who had helped me in this very dangerous situation. I was supposed to end my life for the entertainment of these people, and you protected my life. That's how he said. I have never seen a finer man. He laughed. He did not say anything. He said, "Okay, what's your name?" He asked the man who saved him from the restaurant keeper. He said, "What is your name?" I told him my name and where I came from. He was very eager to talk with him. He gave his full detailed address, his name, his father's name, his home, his area from where he belongs to, everything he told. And then, to reciprocate the same manner, he said, I asked the man his name. He said, "I have no name." I said, "In that case, Mercy must be your name." So, the writer, the English teacher, he said, "If you don't have any name, then your name must be Mercy. You are very merciful. You are very grateful. So, your name must be Mercy." But he points out that he did not laugh at that. The man who helped him, he did not laugh. He walked on, went on walking, walked on until we reached a deserted bridge. Deserted where nobody was there, empty with people, right? Nobody, no one was walking on that bridge, empty bridge. He looked around. See, he searched for somebody, if there is anybody looking at us, if there is anybody watching us. Nobody was there. "Look, you must go away without turning round." The man who helped him, he said, "This is the last stop for both of us. Here onwards, I am on my own way. You should follow your own way. Don't follow me. Don't turn back and look at me," he said. "If anyone asks you whether you have seen me, you must say now. No. You must say no. If anybody, inquiry matters. If anybody inquired, who are you? Have you seen this man with a red turban or white trousers, handlebar mustache? You must say no, he said. You must not identify me. You must forget me. That's what he said. I understood. The writer acted like he understood, nodded his head. Okay, he said. At this point, there is a twist in the tale. So far, we had been looking at the man as a great person who was helping the innocent man. But suddenly, see what happens here. The man who had helped the writer, he took out from his various pockets about 5 wallets. 5 wallets means he was a pickpocketer, in fact. He had stolen 5 wallets in that restaurant so far. And he took out all 5 of them because he don't know which one belongs to this writer. So he took out 5 wallets. 5 among them was mine, he says. The writer says among those 5 wallets, his wallet was there. Which of these is the worse? The writer asked him. Which of these is the worse? The man who helped him, he asked, which of these is the worse? The writer pointed out. I pointed to my wallet. Open it, he said. I opened it. My money was there intact. I put it in my pocket. So he was happy. Finally, the man had paid him the bill in the restaurant, and now he is returning back his wallet too with all his life's savings intact, undisturbed. Nothing was picked out of the pocket there. Everything was there in the wallet. So he put it back into his pocket. The writer put it back into his pocket. He told me, "Go, may God help you. The man who had paid the bill, the thief, the pickpocketer, said, go, may God help you. The writer replied, may God help you. So you have helped me, and that is how the God may help you too. He reciprocated the same thing. So this ends your story, Oru Manushan. But what is very important here? What did we miss, or what we have to see in the story? The change in the character of the pickpocketer. Have you ever seen any thief returning back to the home from where he has stolen something and giving it back to the owner there? No, I have not seen. Once stolen, is lost. Once lost is lost forever. But here what happens when the pickpocketer, when he sees that this innocent man is suffering, is getting insulted. Why? Because not because of his mistakes, but because of the pickpocketer's mistakes. He had money in his wallet, but the pickpocketer has stolen it off. So because of his bad deed, this innocent man was suffering. So when this is seen by the pickpocketer, somewhere in his mind, he felt that I must do something for this person. I must help him. He is innocent. He is not telling lie. He is telling truth. And he has done nothing harm to me. That is how he realized that he has done a mistake. The pickpocket has done a mistake. He realizes his mistake and he comes forward. As a penalty for his mistake, he pays the bill in the restaurant, that is of 11 annas, and even after that he returns back the wallet of the writer to there. Though he doesn't go to all 5 of them to return back their wallets, but at least he has returned back one of those 5 wallets. So there is a change in his life. That is why the writer says, may God help you. May God help you to get that that mercifulness in you. May God help you to come out of this bad habit or bad condition it might be, because nobody is bad by a hobby. Some people have got their own problems, their own sufferings to deal with. So they have chosen some bad routes, bad ways of life. So to come out of that bad way, to come out of that evil path, may God help you, the writer says to the pickpocketer. So here there is a change in the personality. That change is what the writer wants to point out to the readers, that even a bad man, when he realizes that because of his bad deeds the innocent man is suffering, he surely wants to change himself. He surely wants to make some alterations in his character. So that is how there is a hope in the society, that all men are not bad always, and those who are bad may not be bad forever. There might be a change in some way, at some time, somehow. So that hope is expressed with the help of this lesson, Oru Manushan.